Now on CoastTV News.
Working in cold weather with jobs that need to get done, how people are dealing with the frigid conditions. Plus, nuclear next steps. Delaware continues its look at bringing small modular reactors online.
And despite sunshine, we're stuck in the single digits as far as the wind chills are concerned as this bitterly cold air holds its grip on Delmarva. I'm tracking a coastal storm that will bring some high impacts to parts of Delmarva over the weekend.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. Today is Thursday, January 29th. I'm Grace Eckerly and welcome to CoastTV News Midday. Starting off by taking a live look into Rehoboth Beach this morning. The sun is out, but it is bitterly cold. Chris, you've got your hands full covering the weather this week.
Yeah, Delmarva feeling more like a frozen tundra at this hour. I mean, at least we have the sun, right? That's going for us at this hour. But 21 degrees in Salisbury. I want you to kind of ignore the air temperature. It's more about the wind chill. We had wind chills as low as -8 this morning. We are rebounding slowly. It feels like 6 in Rehoboth, 9 in Georgetown, 7 in Milford. Now we have clear skies across the area. Just a few high thin clouds rolling to our south. Pretty quiet throughout much of the eastern half of the country as just polar air continues to filter southward across much of the eastern half of the country. Now we're going to be stuck. Maybe we climb into the lower teens as far as the wind chills are concerned through the afternoon, but then we're going to fall right back into the single digits and eventually below zero overnight in through early Friday. We have a winter storm watch, Accomack, Worcester County. This is the zone where we think the worst snow is going to occur as we go into the weekend. Now, what we know is a powerful coastal storm is going to be developing offshore. The highest impacts are going to be at the beaches and to our south, where we expect snow and high winds to pick up into Sunday. And the storm, we could still see some shift in the track here. We'll have the latest snowfall totals coming up here in a little bit.
Thank you, Chris, and be sure to download the CoastTV app for your phone and your tablet for those snowfalls. And in case you didn't know, you can also get CoastTV streaming apps for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, as well as Apple TV.
All right.
Our top story, continuing our coverage of the temperatures on Delmarva. Temperatures that are still extremely low and temperatures that are, at times, dangerous. There is a concern for people whose job requires working outdoors, and we went to the Rehoboth Public Works and talked to people there about what you can do if you're in those temperatures.
Don't try to do everything all at once. Take your time, do a little bit at a time. Go in, warm up, drink a hot cocoa, coffee, something to relax you a little bit, and then go out and do a little bit more.
According to health experts, the best approach is wearing several layers of clothing in the winter weather. And new this morning, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is expected to present his budget proposal to the Delaware General Assembly later today. The presentation is scheduled for 2 p.m. at the Delaware Public Archives. This comes during the same week House Republicans introduced Bill 282. The legislation aims to decrease state spending by 1%. Delaware legislation that would extend the Nuclear Energy Feasibility Task Force is moving forward. Senate Concurrent Resolution 129 has now passed both chambers in the Delaware General Assembly, and officials say the resolution extends the existence of the task force and puts a deadline for its report at July 31st. The task force is studying the potential for small modular reactors and examines costs, benefits, and long-term roles of nuclear power. And a bipartisan bill in the Delaware General Assembly could make Delaware the first state in the nation to pass a right to repair law focused on marine equipment. Lawmakers say House Bill 279 would require boat and engine manufacturers to provide fair access to parts, tools, and repair information. The bill is sponsored by Republican Senate Representative Rich Collins of Millsboro, and on the Senate side by Democrat Russ Huxtable, who represents parts of Sussex County. House Bill 279 is now pending in the House Transportation Committee. Happening today in Milton, the town's Special Review Committee is looking at a request filed by Scarlet Oaks Holdings LLC for annexation into the town. It's for the land that we're showing you on your screen now. Last year, Scarlet Oaks indicated it wanted to use the land for commercial space, and according to the committee, they plan to discuss the findings of impacts, advantages, disadvantages, cost-benefit analysis, and the committee's advisory report. Two border agents who fired their guns in the shooting that killed Alex Preddy are now on administrative leave, but questions still remain surrounding the investigation into the shooting, with more Republicans calling for an independent probe. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how now outrage over the shooting could lead to a partial government shutdown.
This morning, the two Border Patrol agents who fired their guns in Alex Preddy's fatal shooting in Minneapolis are on administrative leave, according to the Department of Homeland Security, with President Trump's border czar Tom Homan set to speak, looking to ease tensions in a city on edge.
Seeing what's going on in Minnesota, it really breaks my heart.
The Minnesota governor still pressing for federal agents to leave the state, saying he's seen no sign of that.
I have no evidence they have.
All as new video emerged of Preddy in an altercation with federal immigration officers 11 days before he was killed. The footage from online media outlet The News Movement shows Preddy yelling at agents and kicking their SUV, breaking a taillight before agents tackle him. The video does not show what led up to the confrontation. Preddy's family saying they knew about the incident after it happened, adding he posed no threat to anyone and that nothing could possibly have justified his killing. In a separate sign of boiling tensions, Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar speaking out after a man rushed and sprayed her at a town hall with what her office now says investigators believe was apple cider vinegar. She blamed rhetoric from President Trump.
The fear and intimidation doesn't work on me.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle condemned the frightening incident.
Political violence or those sort of confrontations should be condemned across the board.
As they work to prevent a partial government shutdown by the end of the day tomorrow, with Democrats dug in against Homeland Security funding without changes to immigration enforcement operations. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Now stay with us on CoastTV News Midday, because coming up after the break, life-saving response. How a serious crash that nearly took the life of a Sussex County bicyclist is the latest example of new blood techniques used by first responders.
Well, this Arctic outbreak continues today into the weekend ahead of a coastal storm that will bring snow to parts of Delmarva. I'll have the latest coming up here in minutes. And congratulations to Barbara Collins, Pocomoke City, Maryland, on winning an umbrella from CoastTV. I'll have your latest 7-day forecast coming up.
Bicycling on trails and roads is a big activity in the communities where we live, but because those cyclists share those roads with cars and trucks, it can sometimes lead to tragedy, and that was nearly the case in one such incident over the summer. But thanks to a good Samaritan, first responders, and a new blood technique, one man who was hit hopes to ride his bike again. A summer bike ride on the Lewis-Georgetown Trail, a ride that was life-changing for Chris Evans.
I guess there was a car coming that I didn't see.
I received a call from BB Hospital, an actual ER nurse who had said my husband was in a severe accident.
He was hit by an SUV which left him with a brain injury, dozens of broken bones, damage to his kidneys and liver.
He had a brain injury as well. So it was very extensive, and they did not know if he would survive.
And that is when paramedics helped Evans with a fairly new treatment called whole blood. Whole blood has red blood cells, clotting factors, platelets, and plasma.
Whole blood was the absolute difference. There is no chance that we're here today without whole blood in the back of the ambulance.
The year Cowan referred to was the Sussex County Public Safety Headquarters in December. It was a reunion between Evans and those who helped save his life.
You're a mess. You're a mess. I've seen some ugly stuff, but you're a mess. And I'm happy to see you sitting here.
Chris is here today with his family to celebrate the holidays, which is the biggest blessing we could ever have.
This whole event made me realize how fragile life really is. And you know, I hope I don't get emotional about it, but I'm here because they do what they do, and that's the basic.
Chris had a walking stick with him on this day, and though he is still working towards a full recovery, Chris Evans is determined to get back to riding his bike. For Coastal Connections, I'm Matt Pensick.
absolutely brutally cold late Thursday here on Delmarva. We have bright blue skies in Cambridge as the dock here is beginning to look more like an ice cube. 22 right now in Cambridge, bone dry and very cold out there. Temperatures are in the upper teens to lower 20s, but more importantly, check out some of these wind chills. Feeling like 8 in Rehoboth, 11 in Ocean City, feeling like 9 in Georgetown, 7 in Bridgeville, and that's all thanks to the gusty winds out of the northwest, gusting to 25. Salisbury 25 in Dagsboro. Now we still have that cold weather advisory in effect for all of Delaware. This runs through tomorrow morning, where we expect another round of wind chills as low as -8 from tonight through tomorrow. Now we have clear skies across much of Delmarva. In fact, pretty quiet, just Arctic air dominating much of the Midwest and Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, and this Arctic air is making it all the way down to the south, and we're going to eventually see our area of low pressure develop off the South Carolina coast as we go into the weekend. Now temperatures holding in the lower 20s this afternoon, will fall to 16 by around 10 as those wind chills continue to be quite low. We're going to see single-digit wind chills through the evening. By Friday morning, feeling like 5 below in Ellendale, -1 in Fenwick Island. As we go into Saturday morning, continuing to see sub-zero wind chills across the area, so that Arctic air is going to hold pretty thick through the weekend. We stay clear and dry through the night, falling back into the single digits. Could rival some cold highs as we go into the day on Friday, and then the clouds will be increasing Friday night in through Saturday ahead of a coastal storm. We have winter storm watches in effect for Accomack, Worcester County. This is the zone where we expect the most snow at this point. And look at these winter storm watches. They expand all the way down into North Carolina and South Carolina. This is going to be the bullseye for a blizzard, an all-out blizzard in those areas. And some of these areas just experienced a pretty significant ice storm last weekend. So there's our storm system that's going to begin to take shape. We're really going to see the winds begin to ramp up as we go in through the night on Saturday and through Sunday. So snow will begin in our southern areas late in the morning, early afternoon, and then overspread most of the heart of Delmarva in through Saturday night. And you can see that sharp, narrow cutoff from the northwest to the north. Most of the snow will be confined to the coast, as most of the heaviest precipitation is going to stay to our east. But as that system pulls away, the winds are going to continue to intensify into Sunday morning. Look at some of these wind gusts, 51 in Lewis, 50 Fenwick Island, and then the winds will slowly begin to relax into Monday. So the latest run right now, we may have to shift all this a bit further to the south, but on average, I think we'll see most of Sussex County 3 to 4 with that jackpot zone just south of Salisbury down through Accomack County, where we could see a north of 6 inches. And Accomack County could be close to blizzard-like conditions as we go into Saturday night. We have yellow alerts in play from Saturday night through Sunday, and then we finally begin to creep above the freezing mark as we go into Groundhog Day with a high of 32. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. Be sure to download the Coast TV app for your phone and tablet. And in case you didn't know, you can also get the Coast TV streaming app for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Here's what's coming up tonight on DSN. It's the big game in Cape Henlopen when they go south versus Laurel. Take a short trip to Seaford. Along with that game here, your DSN Plus exclusives at 4. Those same two schools meet in girls basketball. Then we have a couple of boys basketball matchups starting at 5:30. Parkside visits Stowe Hill. North Dorchester is at St. Peter and Paul. And at 5:45, Del Mar hosts Woodbridge. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Well, do you love celebrating all things local, whether it's local businesses to explore, restaurants to eat at, boutiques to shop around at? Well, we've got it for you every day, Monday through Friday, here on Coast Life, and you can find it when you join us today at 4.
The Ocean Pines Association Board unanimously approved a construction contract for a new fire station. Construction is expected to take about 60 weeks once crews break ground, possibly as early as next month. The more than $6 million project replaces the current station that was built in 1981, which firefighters now say is out of code, overcrowded, and no longer meeting the department's needs. Growth on the coast, well, we know it's a big issue. We have growing pains because everyone wants to live here, but it comes at a cost. Roads, infrastructure, development, a loss of open space, all of that creates conflict and concerns. Coast TV News has investigated all the deep-seated issues that brought us to where we are today. And on February 4th at 7 p.m., join us for a 1-hour special to help you understand the price of paradise, growth on the coast. Extreme cold warnings are in effect this week as wind chills could drop into the negative numbers, as Chris has told us. Frozen and slick surfaces are still covering Delmarva, and doctors warn icy conditions can lead to serious injuries, as they are now urging people to take extra precaution before heading outside.
It doesn't take long for somebody to take a misstep, even if they're just going from their garage into their house, having a fall just in the wrong direction and ending up needing a surgery to repair it.
Doctors recommend checking in on your neighbors, especially the elderly.
Yeah, we've been below freezing since Sunday, so everything is rock solid. Right now we're at 19 in Laurel, only getting up into the mid-20s, but that wind chill will remain in the single digits and teens. Look at those wind chills out there. I'll have your latest 10-day forecast coming up. Well, you can always give our Coast TV First Alert Weather Phone a call for your latest forecast, sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalas, Federico. Your 10-day forecast shows this brutally cold air sticking around through the weekend. More sub-zero wind chills by Friday and Saturday morning. We have yellow alerts in play for snow Saturday into Sunday. That snow beginning late Saturday afternoon. The heaviest snow we're thinking is primarily south of the Delaware-Maryland border, and we're seeing that snow continue into Sunday. The winds are going to be a huge factor as we go into Sunday for all of our beach communities, with gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour as that storm deepens offshore. And we are looking at temperatures finally rebounding back above the freezing mark into early next week. And then we're going to ride the mid to upper 30s through the end of next week. Chris.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News Midday. If you'd like more local news and local weather ahead of the storm, you can download our Coast TV News app, and don't forget to join us back here for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Until then, have a great Thursday.